No time for that doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, like told me, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win, apply myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of BWT. And today we have a special guest, Xavier Scruggs. But before we get into our interview, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing all good, man. I appreciate you having me on here today.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. I know you've got a busy schedule. I saw you on Instagram going to all the other camps. It's pretty insane, man. So I'm very grateful for you hopping on tonight.
No, definitely happy to be here. Anytime I get to chop it up with anybody with some baseball, and it's a blessing. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. All right. So before we get started, guys, just make sure you are liking this video, commenting on this video, and sharing it to any baseball fans that you know, and also subscribe to the network. We've got other shows on the Refuse to Lose network. We've got CTC, Carl Talking College. We've got FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. RBO, Real Ballers Only with Vaughn. We've got In the Red Corner with Ty, Ricky, and Fast Camp. We've got Dave's Doghouse and King's Talk with Joe Jordan. And, of course, the main show, Refuse to Lose, right? So whatever you guys need, sports related, we got you guys covered. So make sure you guys are subscribing to the network so you don't miss any news at all. All right, man, let's get right into it. So you were drafted out of high school, right?
I got drafted out of high school, yeah, but I went to college and decided to give myself 3 good years before I got drafted again out of college. So that was one of those things where I felt like I wasn't ready yet out of high school, so I wanted to go to college and make sure I got kind of more experience and kind of mentally was more prepared to be a professional.
Yeah. You ended up going to UNLV for those 3 years, hitting 328 with a 427 slugging percentage, 34 home runs, and 112 RBIs. So, and that was good enough to get you drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals in 2008. How was that experience?
That was amazing. Just you work so hard for something your entire life, and once you kind of get that opportunity, it's like all that work that you put in was ultimately worth it, right? All the people that helped you get to that point, all the sacrifices that you made, it kind of runs through your mind, and going and being a professional, doing something that you dreamed of. A lot of people don't even get to chase a dream, but the opportunity to chase it and then kind of realize that dream was special to me, and it was something that obviously meant a lot.
Yeah. How was your time in the minors? Because you got drafted in 2008 and you didn't make your MLB debut until September 4th in 2014.
Yeah, it was a grind. That's what that they use that word grind in the minor leagues, and really that's what it was like for me, just trying to find ways to continually get better, and continue to press my game forward. There was times where I felt like I was taking a step back, but I always kind of felt mentally that I had the opportunity to be a major leaguer. And I think that's what kept pushing me. I knew it wasn't going to be easy from the start, but I think just being focused on finding ways to just increase my game, even if it was marginally, that was kind of my focus. And um, it was fun because I got to play with a lot of good guys. I got to really hang out with a lot of guys that helped me get to the major league level. I had a lot of great coaches, but yeah, it was definitely not easy, and it took me the full 6 years, basically almost 7 years to get there.
Yeah, yeah. And then after that, you ended up getting traded to the Marlins, and then you got called up on. You ended up signing a minor league deal with the Marlins, and then that you got called up on August 19th, and then August 20th, you hit your first career home run. And do you remember who you hit it off of?
Yeah, I hit the home run off of Chad Cool. That's something that I'll never forget. That first home run, it's a basically it's just a feeling that you can't explain. It's almost like everything kind of just you almost black out and don't realize what happened, because it's just a feeling that is amazing. It's one of those feelings that's indescribable. I just remember being on cloud nine, like jogging around the bases, just because something that I had done so many times in the minor leagues, and even as an amateur player, was really kind of tough for me to do at the major league level. It was weird, but once I finally got that one, I was like, okay, the big weight came off the shoulders. It was like, okay, I belong here. I got to do it at an amazing park at PNC Park. Got the ball back, and then as I remember, the home run, Ichiro was on second base. Mattingly was my coach, so when I came back into the dugout, big high five from Don Mattingly. Barry Bonds was my hitting coach, so a big hug from Barry Bonds. Um, and just a lot of screaming and yelling from a lot of my teammates. So it was a really cool moment.
Yeah, man. If you know anything about baseball, those are some big names. We got a question here from my guy Tomo, one of the co-hosts from the Refuse to Lose Network. He says, "Was there a moment where you wanted to give up, and what kept you going?"
Yeah, I didn't feel like I ever wanted to give up. I questioned and like doubted myself at times. Just more from a mental standpoint, right? Just more from a like, man, other guys, and this is mostly in the minor leagues, but I saw like other guys that maybe had gotten done playing baseball around the same age as me, and they're on with the next job, making money. They're having look a successful life after baseball, and I was kind of like, man, like I want to have that if I'm not playing to the area or the par in which I'm used to playing. And I felt like I went through those stretches where I just kind of questioned myself and questioned, okay, should I be doing something else? But I think what kind of pushed me is I've always had faith in myself, and I always have faith in God that everything will work out the way it's supposed to, right? And if I'm putting in the work and I'm doing what's necessary and I'm making the correct changes, that something good will happen. And to always kind of continue to be confident, even through those times you doubt yourself. Like that's when you have to really turn on the confidence. And I had people in my corner that kind of talk to me about those things, and so that's why I kind of mentioned like friends and family that help make those sacrifices, because they're the ones that are a lot of times talking you into continuing and motivating you to continue and to be your best. So that was definitely what kind of kept me going.
Yeah, families was definitely a huge part of my game as well. When I was playing, I didn't make it as far as you. Ended up playing as a college player. That's as far as I made it.
That's
But I was
awesome.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be a part of two national championship teams at the USCAA level at the College of St. Joseph. So
That's
um,
awesome.
I definitely definitely don't regret any part of it. And then after you played for the Marlins that year, you ended up going to Korea and playing in the KBO,
Yes.
right? Explain the difference between the major leagues and what essentially is the major leagues over there in KBO.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The major leagues is like is going to be the best of the best, right? You're getting Japanese, you're getting Korean, you're getting Dominicans, all types of Latin players coming that are the best of the best to play in the United States. So that's the top tier. Korea would be more comparable to like between Major League Baseball and AAA baseball. So I went to Korea because I had an amazing opportunity to experience a different culture, and I was trying to make a name for myself, to where I didn't have to go from AAA to the major leagues, back down to AAA to the major leagues. So it was an opportunity to maybe go to Korea and then come back and play in the major leagues. So once I signed over there to play for the NC Dinos, an amazing experience. It was kind of the biggest difference for me personally was just being able to be on one team shooting for a championship, kind of being able to focus on the things that I know I'm great at, without trying to worry about if I'm going up back to the major leagues or down to AAA. So it was an amazing opportunity for me to do that. But baseball is different over there. The atmosphere is more party like. It's exciting every single game. Doesn't matter if you're out of the game. If your team's losing by 10 runs, you're still getting excitement in the crowd. The fans are still going crazy. I kind of describe it as like a Duke, UNC, Duke, North Carolina basketball game. Like the atmosphere is going to be nuts every time out. So we had an amazing experience over there. My first son was born in Korea, so Korea definitely has a special place in my heart. And I'll go over to Korea here in a couple of days and get ready for the two games that will be played in Seoul, between the Dodgers and Padres too. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that should definitely be fun and a great kickstart to the MLB season. Um, and then after that, you went off to play in the Mexican League for the Leones de Yucatan. Uh, how was that?
Yeah, it was fun, man. It was another great experience for me. I'm huge in experience in different cultures. I've played in so many different leagues, and Mexico was right up there, with one of my favorites. Just getting to experience a different style of baseball, was cool. I thought it was it was more focused on kind of the power game, but also a good mix of a little bit of small ball. There was a lot of base stealing. Excuse me. There was a lot of pressure, putting pressure on the opposing defenses, hitting runs, a bunch of that stuff. So that was exciting. My team, Leones, we got to the championship. We actually lost in Game 7, but that was an experience within itself because, like, a lot of times you think about winning a championship, but a lot of times you basically never think about the team that lost that championship, right? Or the team that lost in the Game 7. So getting that far and then losing the championship, it kind of gives you a different perspective on things, and how it's not easy to win. And so that was exciting for me, and just experiencing the food over there was amazing. The people, I didn't know much about Mexico. All I knew about was Tijuana because I grew up in San Diego. So kind of getting to experience some different cities in Mexico was pretty cool for me too.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Like you said, the like the atmosphere when you played in Korea, being a Duke UNC game in college. I'm a Duke fan myself, so I definitely
Mm,
know what you're talking about, man. Sad to see them get swept this this year, but
mm,
the atmosphere is always amazing.
yeah.
And when you played in Korea, you hit 61 home runs and 208 RBIs, so you definitely found your power stroke over there. So
Yeah, it was good. Couple of good seasons over there. Had a it was opportunity to kind of just go and be myself, and I felt like I was able to have a lot of success. and really fit in with the culture too. That was something that me and my wife really tried to do, is just, hey, don't bring our American ways over there and try to expect everybody to conform to our ways. It was cool getting to kind of conform to some of the Korean ways.
Yeah. And then after that, you joined the St. Louis Cardinals as a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant in 2021. And after that, you've been covering baseball for ESPN for the last couple of years, and you are a co-host on Off Base on MLB Network. So that's awesome, man. I appreciate your work. Definitely see what you've been doing. That video with Pete Alonso when he explains the hitting off that front foot. That was great to see.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I just love kind of, just picking guys' brains. I'm still learning from an analyst standpoint, so I want to know the ins and outs of guys' swings and what they're thinking about on the field, and pitchers, same thing, what they're thinking about, how they're attacking hitters, like all that stuff interests me. And it's the little nuances of the game that a lot of times we don't really know unless you find out some way. So it's exciting for me to find those things out. I love just creating content that people can kind of vibe with, and just, whether you're avid follower of the game or you're somebody that's just a casual fan or someone that doesn't even know anything about baseball. Like I love to create that type of stuff that draws people in.
Yeah, you're definitely doing a great job.
Thank you.
My guy Tomo said I found a new guest host. He's definitely welcome whenever he can, man. So Tomo kind of touched up on this question earlier, but what inspired you to keep going in the game for such a long journey that you had?
Yeah, I think just it's like you always find ways that you want to improve your game. Like I think that was it for me, is like, okay, this game of baseball is hard. It's not easy. You fail a lot of the time. Like you're always trying to work on something. You're always trying to make weaknesses your strengths. Like those things were um things that like kept me motivated and kept pushing me, and um, kept encouraging me to want to get better. And then you get to a certain point too, like where your family becomes a big part of it. And then, you start to see the business side of things, and you start to see, okay, there's opportunity to make money in this game. There's opportunity to feed my family. There's opportunity to have a certain lifestyle. So those things can motivate you as well. But I'll go back to kind of talking about my faith. That was huge for me. Is just like, knowing that I set a goal forward, and kind of once you, and this too, like once you set a goal forward, you feel like you don't, there's going to be things that are obstacles, there's going to be hurdles, but nothing can ultimately stop you from that goal if you're putting one foot in front of in front of the next foot every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was something that kind of continued to push me, the faith in myself, and knowing that I had a higher power that was helping watch over me, and kind of help me along the way. So that those things are the most important things for me that kind of push me towards that longevity.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm definitely uh, the same. I There was, like you said, man, this game of baseball is hard. There's been days where I've booted like 5, 6 balls at practice, and I was like, damn, like, do I
Yeah,
really want to keep doing this? But it's definitely just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and the next day I made all the plays. So these kids never give up.
that's
Um,
right.
do you have any hot takes for this upcoming MLB season?
Any hot takes for this upcoming MLB season? Hot takes. I guess my only hot take that may be far from what people may think is a lot of people think, I love Jackson Holiday. I think that he's going to be amazing for the Orioles, but there's a player in Texas by the name of Wyatt Langford who I watched at Florida. I got to cover some University of Florida games. He was I believe the third pick
Mhm.
overall last year. He already went to AAA last year, but just absolutely demolishes baseballs, and I think he's going to be the rookie of the year in the American League. I think he might have an opportunity to break with this team with the Rangers, but if he doesn't break with the team, I would assume he'd be up pretty quick and have an opportunity to win rookie of the year. A lot of people think it's going to be Jackson Holiday. I think it's going to be Wyatt Langford for the American League.
Yeah. Him and Evan Carter this spring training are going absolutely insane. Um, I definitely think that Jackson Holiday has a good shot, but
Hmm.
Wyatt Langford, man, watch out for that name because,
Definitely.
like X said, he demolishes baseballs. Um, we've got a we've got a question from Joe. What team did you love playing against the most?
The team that I loved playing against the most was probably the Chicago Cubs. I think it was the Cubs because I love playing at Wrigley, and I love when the Cubs came to Busch, and that rivalry is just there's something sweet about it. Both teams like really hate each other, and I just remember going to Wrigley. I think that was my favorite park outside of playing at Busch, just because it was that old school feel. The fans are right on top of you. You can hear them screaming obscenities and all that stuff, and you just feel like you're almost playing in the backyard. The way that the field is kind of constructed in the stadium, and you know that the greats played there. So definitely that Cubs Cardinals rivalry when I was with the Cardinals was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely they don't like each other at all. It's when William Contreras, I'm surprised that he got that ovation when he came back to Wrigley because of him going to St. Louis.
Yeah.
Um, who was your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player growing up was Tony Gwynn. I grew up in San Diego, so watching Tony Gwynn do his thing was it for me. Just seeing the way that he sprayed the ball all over the field, didn't strike out. That was like the type of player that I wanted to be. Just somebody that was able to hold, like, control the bat so well. Was Mr. Padre. Like, everybody knew him in San Diego. Like, so that was my guy. And then also Gary Sheffield. I love watching Gary Sheffield, how aggressive he was with the swing. But also very disciplined at the plate, was able to take his walks. But you knew he was a force to be reckoned with in the middle of the order. So those two were by far my favorite players.
Yeah. Speaking of Gary Sheffield, I saw you did an episode with him as well. Do you feel that he was robbed for the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I definitely feel like Gary Sheffield was robbed. I just look at the numbers, and I mean, those stand out to me big time. I think it's just really it comes down to being tied to PEDs, right? And if there's certain voters that feel like that you're tied to that, and they're not gonna budge, that was kind of the case. And also, um you can tell that the Hall of Fame is also something that people want you to be liked. Like, they want you to be a personable presence. They want you to do well with the media and whatnot. And that was not really Sheffield. So I think there was definitely some outside factors that had nothing to do with actually on the field, that kept Gary Sheffield out of the Hall of Fame so far.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I actually came on here when they announced the class, and we talked about Gary Sheffield not getting in, and I was disappointed in the voters because there's a couple people that should be in, like Bonds. There's no doubt in my mind that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose,
Mm,
like guys like that who were greats, but
yeah.
they're just not going to get in because, like you said, they're not people, or like they just had that link with the PEDs.
Right.
Is there any advice that you have young players today trying to play at the next level?
The advice that I would give young players today trying to play at the next level would be, try to lock in on, like, everybody knows their strengths, everybody knows what they're good at, but the tough part is being disciplined enough to go out there and practice working on your weaknesses on a day-to-day basis. I think the ones that turn their weaknesses into strengths ultimately are the ones that give themselves an opportunity to separate themselves beyond measure. Um, and, a lot of times we'll go out there and work on our weaknesses and, okay, let me check that off the box and then let me get back to my strengths. Like, no, if you're able to really hone in on changing the narrative about your weaknesses and making those strengths, like, what, say somebody says, okay, you really have trouble with this, and then the next thing they know, you've been working on it all the time, and now it's like, wait a minute, this is now a strength of his. Like, this doesn't look like it was ever a weakness. That to me is something that guys should try to hone in on. And just being focused. Like, a lot of times we think we're focused, we think we're in the game, we think we're watching, but like, the best of the best are always, like, truly locked in on the details of the game. Like, how is a pitcher coming set? Like, what's the difference between their delivery on a changeup and a curveball? Like, what is a catcher doing when he's moving towards the outer half of the plate that indicates that it's going to be an off-speed pitch? Like, the little details of the game is what I would tell kind of the young players to focus on as well.
Yeah, I'm a coach myself now, and that's definitely one of the things that I preach to my guys, just the little things, because it's one thing, like, the physical errors, they're gonna happen, but it's the mental errors that I can't stand.
Right.
Not being in tune with the game, and not, like, I had one kid one year, 12 years old. He was in the dugout playing, like, RuneScape on his phone or something like that. And then he was wondering why he wasn't playing. Like, and then he would go out there and not do well, and then, like, it's just little stuff like that,
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's definitely something that I preach to my guys. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Do you have any last words?
Nah, man. I would just say congrats to you guys and what you guys are doing, man. Keep up the good work. At any time we have people talking about baseball and how special it is and kind of the cool parts about it, I'm all for it, man. So keep up the good work and keep doing it.
Appreciate it, man. I'll definitely be tuning in to your coverage of the MLB Network, and I will be watching at 6 a.m. Eastern time when the Dodgers face off against the Padres. So
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Definitely love the game. Nothing better than it. All right, guys. Again, make sure you guys are liking this video, commenting, sharing this video to any baseball fans that you know. Subscribe to the network so you don't miss out on our next video coming soon. That's all we got for you guys tonight. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.